Max Verstappen just drove a Formula One car with a brand new engine, built by a team that's never made one before. No Honda, no backup, no margin for error. Everyone expected failures, explosions, a disaster. Instead, he ran more laps in one day than Aston Martin did all week. But the real shock? Verstappen said the car felt fine. That doesn't make sense. Unless Red Bull has been hiding something huge. This is the truth about his adaptation to the RB22 Ford. And once you hear it, you'll question everything you thought you knew about this season. Max Verstappen sat inside a car that shouldn't exist. Not this early. Not this stable. Not this quiet. The RB22 Ford is more than just a new car. It's the beginning of something no one saw coming. For the first time ever, Red Bull went to war without Honda. No engine partner to blame. No fallback system. No rescue clause. This was Red Bull's engine. Built from scratch. Mapped in-house. Integrated with Ford's hybrid systems. And launched into live track testing in front of the entire paddock. The risk? Massive. Because engine failures are brutal. They don't give warnings. They explode. They cook gearboxes. They burn your weekend to the ground. And yet, Verstappen got in, fired it up, and drove 118 laps, with zero reliability issues. No smoke. No flames. Not even a missed shift. That's not supposed to happen. Not with a brand new architecture. Not in February. Not under cold weather, fresh asphalt, and full pressure scrutiny. And here's where things get even crazier. Max wasn't driving at 100%. He admitted it. Fatigue, soreness, discomfort. And still, he was the most consistent driver of the day. Lap after lap. Data flowing back to the garage. And behind those numbers, one truth started becoming impossible to ignore. This car works. And not just on paper. On track. Under pressure. In real-world conditions. So the question is no longer, did Max adapt? The question is, how did he adapt this fast? And what does that say about the machine underneath him? Because if this is what he can do when the car is raw, if this is how he performs when the engine is still in version 1, then we might be looking at something even more dangerous than dominance. We might be looking at trust. And in Formula One, trust between driver and machine? That's the final step before total control. But we're just getting started. Because what happened in the garage after the run revealed something even more insane. And that's what we're uncovering next. The car rolled back into the garage, engines off, tire blankets on, doors closed. To the outside world, it looked routine. But inside that garage, something was happening. Engineers huddled. No panic. No shouting. Just whispers and disbelief. Because the data coming in wasn't just clean. It was too clean. No overheating. No voltage drops. No unexpected loss of torque in the hybrid cycle. Everything was within parameters. And for a brand new engine? That's unheard of. Most new power units suffer thermal spikes. Sensor confusion. Crashes in engine mapping. Red Bull's system? Ran like it had already done 6 races. And that's when the mood began to shift. You could feel it. Mechanics looking at each other, eyebrows raised. Engineers double-checking figures not because they were bad, but because they seemed too perfect. And in the middle of it all, Max Verstappen sat in the chair, helmet off, calm, breathing like he'd just driven a simulator. Then came the debrief. He didn't hype the car, didn't drop bold quotes, didn't smile for the cameras. All he said was, it felt solid. There's still work to do, but it's a good base. A good base. That's Verstappen code for, this car is ready. And here's what makes that terrifying. Red Bull didn't expect this level of stability. Not yet. Not after losing 2 days from Hager's crash. Not with spare parts flown in midweek. Not with brand new engine mapping software. But the signs were all there. Every lap completed. Every run consistent. Every system responding exactly how it was designed. And Red Bull knows what that means. It means the worst-case scenario didn't happen. It means Verstappen adapted faster than expected. And the car responded exactly how he wanted it to. And now, they have a problem. Because this early? They're ahead of schedule. And when Red Bull gets ahead of schedule, history shows one thing. Everyone else starts falling behind. But here's where things get even more serious. Because while the data looked perfect, there was one specific detail Max mentioned, and they might explain the real reason he felt so comfortable. We go into that next. After 3 full race stints, on cold asphalt, with a brand new engine underneath him, Max Verstappen. But if you followed Verstappen's career, you know exactly what that means. This is a driver who hates surprises. He doesn't want a car that's tricky, edgy, reactive. He wants a car that does exactly what he tells it to do. Every time. Without negotiation. That's what balance means to Max. It means he can predict the car's behavior. Not react to it. Not wrestle with it. Not hope it responds. But actually control it. And here's the key. Verstappen said the balance, even on heavier fuel, the car rotated cleanly. That tells us something major. Red Bull's suspension concept, redesigned for the 2026 regulations, might be closer to perfect than anyone realized. And that matters. Because these new cars are heavier, more restricted, harder to manage on corner entry. Teams like Ferrari are still struggling with mechanical grip. Mercedes spent 3 seasons solving front-end instability. Even Aston Martin's radical design is unpredictable at low speed. But Red Bull? They nailed balance on day one. With a new chassis, a new engine, and only 1 day of clean running. So now the question isn't whether Verstappen adapted. It's whether he ever needed to. Because what if the car was already built for him? What if Red Bull's engineers knew exactly how he'd respond before he even got in? And if that's true, then we're not just looking at a fast car. We're looking at a machine custom engineered around the most dominant driver of this generation. And that is a terrifying idea for the rest of the grid. But before we call it, there's one last angle to explore. Because while the RB22 Ford felt balanced, there was one specific upgrade Verstappen didn't use during testing. And it might explain why Red Bull is hiding their real pace until the exact moment they need it most. We go there next. You don't need a stopwatch to see it. If you watched Verstappen's runs in Barcelona, one thing stood out almost immediately. Straight line speed. It wasn't impressive. No aggressive throttle hits. No brutal DRS launches. No mid-sector surges. Just smooth, controlled acceleration. Too smooth. The timing sheets confirmed it. Max's trap speeds were consistently below the top 5. Even when others turned their engines up, Verstappen stayed right where he was. And here's what that tells us. Red Bull wasn't showing full power. Not even close. They were sandbagging. But this time, it wasn't about hiding chassis performance. It was about protecting something much bigger. The new Red Bull powertrain's ERS system, built with Ford's hybrid expertise, is designed to do one thing better than anyone else. Control energy delivery. The MGUK, the battery logic, the deployment maps. All of it has been redesigned from the ground up. And Barcelona was not the place to unleash it. The cold conditions were wrong. The straights weren't long enough. And Verstappen wasn't chasing a headline. He was collecting data. Verstappen ran the car in what insiders call Mode 3, a setting used to limit electrical deployment for better long-run consistency. No full throttle blasts. No qualifying style bursts. Just enough to measure reliability. And yet, even in that mode, the car was never unstable. No sudden dropouts. No hybrid lag. No overheating. Which tells us something massive. The full power mode hasn't been seen yet. And if the car looked balanced without it, if Max was already this comfortable, if they completed over 100 laps without a glitch, then imagine what happens when Red Bull finally hits Mode 1. That's maximum ERS, maximum battery output, and full deployment across the lap. Something no one else has seen. And something no one else is ready for. That is the card Red Bull is holding. And it's why Barcelona didn't tell the full story. Because when you build your own engine, with your own hybrid strategy, and your own driver perfectly synced to the system, you don't need to go fast in testing. You just need to make sure everything's working. And it is. Which leads to the scariest part of all. If Verstappen was this fast, this comfortable, and this in control, while running at reduced power, then we haven't seen the real RB22 yet. Not even close. And once Bahrain hits, that mask comes off. Completely. From the outside, it looked simple. Verstappen drove a lot of laps. The car didn't break down. Everyone packed up happy. But inside the Red Bull garage, there was a checklist. A short one. With only 3 boxes. Not lap times. Not sector pace. 3 specific targets. And they hit all of them. The first? Thermal efficiency. Red Bull needed to know exactly how hot their brand new engine would run. Under real-world load. Not simulation. Not wind tunnel guesses. Live air. Live track. Full race stints. And here's what they found. The engine ran cooler than expected. Even under full stress from Racing Bull's long runs. Even with aggressive cooling duct tests. That means one thing. They can run a tighter engine package in Bahrain. Smaller side pods, lower drag, and still stay within thermal safety. Advantage 1, unlocked. The second data point? ERS deployment timing. Not just how much energy the car has, but when to use it. Ford's hybrid input is all about software intelligence, learning the rhythm of each circuit, deploying just enough energy to exit fast, without sacrificing battery for the next zone. And in Barcelona, they ran silent tests all week. Different laps, different maps, different throttle traces. And the conclusion? The car is consistent. It responds to mapping instantly. And Verstappen's feedback matched the simulations within 2%. That's unheard of. And it means Red Bull can now custom deploy ERS for each individual track segment. Advantage 2, activated. And the third data point? Tire behavior under engine torque. This one's subtle, but deadly, because the way a power unit delivers torque directly affects rear tire degradation. Too aggressive? You kill the tires. Too soft? You lose corner exit speed. Red Bull's new engine had never been tested under real tire stress, so they used the Friday session to find out. Hard compound, heavy fuel, long distance. Verstappen logged over 60 laps on a single set of tires, and the rear end never stepped out. No unexpected spin, no sudden drop-off, just clean degradation, exactly as predicted. And that right there? That's the whole game. Because now Red Bull knows. Their engine runs cool, their energy deploys smart, and their torque curve protects the tires. They weren't just testing in Barcelona. They were building a launch profile, a full race setup, for a car that hadn't even raced yet. So when Bahrain arrives, they're not starting from zero. They're launching with a car Max Verstappen already trusts, already understands, and already knows how to win with. And the other teams are still chasing balance, still solving overheating, still waiting for parts. Which means Verstappen's adaptation was never about learning a new engine. It was about proving it works. And now that it does, he's going to unleash it. All of it. But before that happens, there's one final question left. Not for Max, not for Red Bull, but for the rest of the grid. And it's a brutal one. What do you do when the driver who won everything before now has a better car than he did then? That's next. And it changes everything.